Hello and welcome to my video on what advice I would give expecting parents regarding cameras. So my friend and his partner are expecting their first baby very soon. He asked me to give him some advice about what camera to get for photographing his new baby and to allow him to photograph his children as they get older. Him and his partner are really into social media updates and they frequently post updates about their lives to social media. Other requirements are the system all in has to be under £500 and he said the cheaper the better. They want to be able to get a shallow depth of field to get those really nice baby pictures. Video would be good but it's not essential. I've suggested they have a system that would be able to cope with the image requirements as their children get older. When you have a baby, they lie very still, but when they become a toddler, they move very fast, and actually they move too fast for a smartphone to capture. Also, when they get older, they're going to play sports and other things, and you're going to want a camera system that's adaptable, can be used for sports, landscapes, lots and lots of things to do with your children. Parents are going to be quite hesitant about using flash. So low light capabilities and gathering as much light as possible is going to be really key. So what have I recommended? I've recommended they go for a used Canon DSLR. So I recommended they go for a cheap second-hand Canon, and this 20D is an absolute bargain at £59. I recommended they go for a 30mm f1.4 lens for Canon. I recommend they go for a SD card that has wireless facilities to connect and send data to smartphones, tablets, etc. For the camera I've picked, they're going to need an adapter. So let's look at these things in more detail. So why have I gone for a Canon body? Well, why have I gone for a DSLR? Well, a DSLR is going to give you the best all-round performance in terms of quick focusing, low light capabilities, interchangeable lenses and adaptability. You can't beat a DSLR for that. Mirrorless is very good, but you cannot beat a DSLR for everything. So I found that the lens is more important than the body. You will upgrade your body, but your lenses will stay with you through your system. And as you'll see in the video that I've done here, it shows that an old body is just as good in terms of capturing images as our modern body counterparts from what most people require. Once you get a good lens, you can always upgrade your camera body later. I've gone for Canon as they're going to have the widest choice of low cost and second-hand lenses. Because Canon is so prevalent throughout the market, there's going to be more chance of picking up a used lens or a cheaper lens, particularly if we're thinking about those STM lenses of Canon's. They're really good at low price points. So if we look at this 20D, we've got 8.2 megapixels, 9 autofocus points, and it goes up to 1600 ISO, although you're probably not going to go that high, particularly when you look at this lens. So why did I go for this lens? Well, if you're only going to have one lens and it's a prime, the best lens to have for general purpose photography and all-round superstar is going to be the 50mm. Now, on an APS-C body, a 30mm is going to work out at a 48mm focal length once you take into account the crop factor. So going for 30mm is a good idea. If you went for a 50mm, you'd end up with around 85 after the crop factor, which is 2 telephoto for what they're going to need. It's got a 1.4 aperture, so it's going to let in an awful lot of light compared to the kit lens or other lenses, and also it's going to give a really good depth of field. It's going to give around the equivalent of f3, so it's going to give a lovely shallow depth of field. So this card is 8GB and it's around £17, and once you plug it in and turn your camera on, it constantly transmits a Wi-Fi signal. So you need an app and then you can copy files from the card to the phone while the card is in the camera, as long as the camera is turned on. Unfortunately, the camera I suggested is a compact flash camera, so you need one of these to be able to take the SD card that I previously suggested. So in all, my suggestion comes to £387.29. Now for that, you're getting a DSLR with a prime lens at f1.4 that can transmit and work with a smartphone. I think that's pretty good. I did a bit more research and I had a look on Amazon at what the low entry price point DSLR for Canon is with a kit lens, and it's $339. Now with this you get a kit lens which is going to go from 18 to 55, but you're really going to struggle in low light because it starts at f3.5, whereas the lens I suggested starts at f1.4. So you're going to get more than double the amount of light taken in by the f1.4 lens. This one is going to do video, but that wasn't on their requirements. It wasn't a big selling point for them, but it does do video. Don't forget, they're heavily into their smartphones, so they're probably going to record video on their smartphones. They're probably not going to need a dedicated DSLR for video. Which would you go for? Would you go for my bundle, or would you buy brand new? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love you to watch my other videos, some of which are here. Thanks. Goodbye.